Hey guys, it's Brian here at Primitive Strength in Amarillo, and we are here to help you move better and get stronger. I want to go over active and passive positions today. It's a little tip to help you when you're doing things like planking, push-ups, any kind of carry or hold, deadlifts, swings, squats, pretty much everything that you need to use the bracing sequence for to get tight, to stay safe, and to get stronger in those moves. So when we're standing here, muscles are activated, but I am not in an active position, okay? I'm not clenching my glutes as tight as I can. I'm not bracing my abs. I'm not contracting my quads. I am in a passive position standing. Now, if I was in an active position, I would engage the glutes. I would shorten the distance between the bottom of my ribs and the top of my pelvis by doing a small crunch, and I would tighten up my quads. This is an active bracing sequence. So now I'm in an active position. You can tell my voice changes a little bit when I do that because I've got everything so tight. So Roxanne's going to demonstrate first a passive and an active plank to get us started. Okay, so she's going to go down and do what's called our hard style plank. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders, feet are together, toes are tucked. So right now she's just hanging out. She is in a passive plank position. She is still engaged in the core, but she is not engaging her glutes, she's not engaging her quads. So I'm going to have her go into the active position. She is going to tighten up the glutes, raise up just a little bit. She is going to shorten the distance between the ribs, bottom of the ribs, and the pelvis, and she's going to contract her quads, okay? Nice and tight everywhere. That is an active plank, all right? So that takes us into the next position I want to talk about, a push-up. All right, so she's going to go into a push-up position, the top of the push-up position, and she's going to stay passive. Okay, now she is going to get active the same way. She's going to tighten the glutes, she's going to engage the abs, tighten the quads. Now she is in a active push-up position, and she's going to do a couple push-ups, staying actively braced. Okay, everything's moving in sequence. There's no sag or dip from the lower spine because she is braced. Okay, so that's the difference on those two between being passive and being active. That will flow into we're going to demonstrate a double rack hold next. It's almost identical to a hard style plank. Okay, so she's going to clean the bells. She's got 2 16s. And then I'm going to have her turn sideways and just stay passive. All right? So after a while, this is going to get pretty challenging for her, staying passive like that. She's not engaged anywhere. I mean, she is engaged, but not actively engaged. Now she's going to go into an active bracing sequence, the same one that we covered in the plank and the push-up. Tightening up the glutes. You can see the pelvis tucked just a little bit. She's tightening the abs, and she's engaging the quads. Okay? This is an active bracing position. For holding that weight, it is safer and it's stronger. Okay? Shallow breathing. She can hang out there for quite a while. If she was staying passive, but it's going to get real hard for her, and she is not going to be able to hold the weights near as long. Okay, so that's the difference between passive and active bracing on a rack hold. All right. Next is going to be the deadlift and the swing, and I ran into this quite a bit over the past month, actually, with some of my students not really being mindful of the active and the passive positions. So on a deadlift, when I stand up at the top, I want to be active. I want all those things engaged, what we've been talking about, the glutes, quads, the abs, everything pretty much from the neck down is engaged and tight. Okay, which one of these looks better to you? A? Or B? Okay, some of you might have a hard time seeing that out there, but the difference between A and B was I was passive in my stance when I stood up on A, and I was active when I stood up on B. That was, I could stand up on a deadlift and not really go into that active bracing sequence. I don't want to do that, okay, because that transfers over into the swing, which I'm fixing to go over. When I stand up, as soon as I start to lift that bell, bar, whatever you're deadlifting off the ground, I'm engaging, And when I get to the top, I'm bracing in that sequence. Glutes, abs, and quads. Shortening the distance, tightening the glutes, and squeezing those abs the quads pretty tight, okay, into my bracing sequence. So same thing when I swing. At the top of the swing, I am not passive, I am active. Okay, so all of those swings, I braced at the top with the glutes, quads, and abs in that active bracing sequence. Do not be passive, especially on ballistic moves like the swing, the snatch, cleans, things like that. If you're doing anything ballistic, you need to be active in your bracing sequence, okay? Practice that during your training. Start with the hardstyle plank. That's an excellent place to start. Hardstyle plank, focus on glutes, quads, and abs, all being engaged at the same time. See how you feel, practice that, and then move into the other exercises and let us know what you think. You can check us out on the web at primitivestrengthama.com. I'm on Instagram, and go like our page on Facebook, Primitive Strength AMA. All right, y'all have a great week.